Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chelsea Story Nook Podcast, a podcast where we dive deep into the enchanting world of the children's literature. I'm your host, Chelsea Chong Kim, and today we have a wonderful guest joining us to share their insights and their journey into their latest book. I'm delighted to welcome our children's book author, Sasha Saidman, the author of First Night, A Boat in the Kitchen, Dust Bunnies Aren't Bad, Just a Little Unclean, and Melonade to Chelsea Story Nook Podcast. Welcome to the show, Sasha.
Thank you so much for having me, Chelsea.
Wow, you already wrote 4 books. That is
Yes,
crazy. That
it
is
has been a busy
amazing.
year.
That is so great. I'm thrilled to have you here with us. So why don't we kick off with things like introduction? Could you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am an author. I am also a mom of 2 very rambunctious toddlers, a 1 and a 2-year-old, and it is crazy 24/7, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But I live here on the East Coast. I absolutely love it with my husband. We have almost 5 acres, and if I had to
Bye.
say like how we spend our day is we're outside a lot. They're outside right now on the dirt bike track, just getting it ready for the fall season.
Oh my God, that is crazy. If I could have at least 1 acre of your property, that would be great. Because I need a
I
lot of
love
space
it.
of myself. Oh my God,
I
that is
love it. I garden
fantastic.
so much. I've taken over the backyard with plants and trees, and
Oh,
it's my like let loose hobby other than writing.
that is fantastic. So let's dive into your book. Could you give us a quick summary of all of your 4 books? Introduce the main
Yeah,
characters, their themes, and then messages. You lead the way.
definitely. So my first book I ever wrote, First Night, I wrote based on the mother-baby connection, biological mother connection to their unborn and then born baby. And I wrote it when my daughter was about 8 weeks old. My mom was here and she was helping me through those first few weeks of parenthood.
That's
And
great.
she would not settle down. My daughter was so fussy. And the second I would walk in the room and put her on my chest, she would settle. And I ended up just
Oh.
giving up and saying, Mom, you cook dinner. I'll sit. I'll let her sleep on me. And she looked at me and she goes, She knows you. She knows your heartbeat. It's all she knows. And
Mm.
I almost start crying thinking about it because it's like they're
Yeah.
only little for so long. But I sat in
Yeah.
actually this very chair on my
Uh-huh.
phone in the notes section, typing up these little phrases I was just thinking of that very first night they put you the baby on your chest if you're in the hospital or
Mhm.
at home, and it's just that immediate connection you have because they just know you so well. And I would joke with my husband that he would have to wear my shirt so he would smell like me. And that's how and that's how First Night came to be. And I was so passionate about it and just that mother baby connection. I talked to so many of my friends, and
Mhm.
it's something that so many of us resonate with. And I loved it, and it just started this snowball effect where I just found this inspiration in writing, and then came to be A Boat in the Kitchen, which
Oh.
was my second book. And again, that was inspired by my children. I was cleaning up probably 11 o'clock at night, and there was this little tugboat in the kitchen, and I actually have it right here.
Oh.
And it was just in a puddle of water. And I thought to myself, what my son sees when he's playing with it. And I was thinking to myself, does he see this huge boat soaring through the kitchen on a huge wave? But then us as adults see it as just another toy, another piece of the insaneness of our home. And I started writing, and I have this piece of paper of just the things I was seeing. And a few of the things that got into the book were there was a cow in the laundry, and we had this little cow sitting in the hamper. We had this little play octopus hanging out near our stairs. I was like, oh, do they see his legs on the banister? And I just began writing, and my husband was talking to me the next morning and was like, wow, like it makes you really think, like, what do your kids see when they play and when they make believe, and what are we missing out on, like what world is going on in our own house right under our nose. And that was The Boat in the Kitchen. And there's the
Oh,
boat.
wow. Oh, so cute. And such a really touching story. And what did sparkle like any inspiration? One of your 4 books, you could talk about all your books if you want to. What inspired you to write those stories? And what was the driving idea behind it?
So for Dust Bunnies specifically, it was
Mhm.
a want to connect with moms that just because our house is dirty does not mean it's bad or that you're a bad
Yes,
mom or you're not being a good job. Because I
true.
suffer with that thought all the time. When people come over, I start thinking, do my dust, do my baseboards have dust on them? Are the
Oh,
sheets
yes.
clean enough? Have the dogs tracked in this mud? Is I even go to the extent like, do I need to like wipe their leaves down to make sure there's no dust on them? I mean,
True.
the thoughts that I have is like, am I a bad mom? Is this not a good environment? And so I started thinking of these little dust bunnies being these
Mm.
kind of, you think of them as nuisances, but they're funny. They kind of mess around with you. And right when you're done sweeping, they pop up again from behind a chair. And I really wanted that funny connection to really be an enjoyable book for children, but also to make moms and parents think like they're not bad. It's okay. It's okay to have dust. It's okay to have a little bit of a mess. It's not bad. It's just a little unclean.
That is so relatable. And I always enjoy learning about the journeys authors take and the inspiration that fuels their story. Could you tell us a little bit about how you became an author and the experiences that influenced your path?
Yeah, so I actually recently wrote my high school English teacher, and I kind of was like, surprise,
Oh,
surprise, I'm
oh
now
my
a children's book
gosh.
author.
That is
She
amazing.
ordered one of my books, which I'm thrilled about. She ordered Melonade.
Wow.
But I am actually dyslexic,
Oh,
and
I
I
see.
never finished high school. I received and got my GED the same year I was going to graduate, so I did
Mm,
not think writing would be in my path. I was not a great reader for most of my youth. Um,
mm,
I now thoroughly enjoy it, but I absolutely love listening to books as well. But for me, I would call myself like the diary kid. I always had a journal or a diary where I'd write down things.
oh,
And a lot of those things were big emotions. When you're a kid, you're writing down these big things. And I think when I became a parent, those really big emotions became overflowing with like love and enjoyment and joy, but also sadness and worry and chaos. And I think translating those onto a page that wasn't just for me, but was for other people because I was relating with all these other moms was really important to me. So I think when I initially wrote First Night and then started sharing that with people, I thought, I want to share these thoughts. I want to get these thoughts
mhm,
on paper with a beautiful image. And I found my
mm.
amazing artist, Lola Svelova. She's phenomenal, makes everything just come to life on the pages. But I really
Wow.
loved that idea of just connecting through those books. And I love it. I do need it to be heavily edited and make sure my punctuations are in the right place. And
Great.
I have an amazing connection with my dad and my mom and my husband, and we all kind of work together. And I send these books out and ideas, and I love it. And I think after becoming a mom, I had a hard time separating my identity from motherhood. And I think a lot of
Mm,
moms have that challenge. And I was at home with them
mm,
and I struggled with who am I? What do I like doing? What do I do other than
mm.
clean and care for these beautiful, chaotic little beings? And when I started writing, I thought, I'm a writer. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I'm an author. And I
Yeah.
started to create this new identity that connected with my family, but also was my own. And I think that
Oh,
was
wow.
just so important to have.
What? That's such as a testimony. That's like it sounds like an incredible story. And I just have a quick question for you too. One of those four books, if you can say, if you get to pick one of your four books, what resonate you the most? And what touched you the most? What do you feel like that's if you get to choose at least one book out of your four collections, this is my book that resonates me. What would it be?
Oh my goodness. Oh, am I allowed to choose two?
Yes, if
So it for me would be as a mother now, it would be a boat in the kitchen. It would be connecting
oh,
with my children's imagination,
nice.
and every page reminds me of my children.
Mm,
And if I was connecting with my younger self, it would be Melonade, which is about a little girl's struggle with dyslexia and
mhm,
not reading things correctly and flip flopping words and feeling like she's just maybe not good enough or not at the same level, and ending up that it's a superpower of hers, that she can see the world in a completely different world. When people are
mhm.
looking at clouds, you're looking at dogs and horses and crazy, knights in shining armor. So I think for me, it really would be Melonade.
Melonade. Incredible story. As we come to a close, could you share an upcoming event or future projects that you're especially excited about and want your audience to look forward to?
Yeah, so I am currently in the process of publishing a book about adoption called First Day, an Adoption Story.
Oh,
And I myself
wow.
am adopted.
Mhm.
And when I initially wrote First Night, I knew there was a huge part of me that said there is a second story. There's, a third and a fourth and a fifth, but I have two stories that I feel able to tell. And so we have a secondary book coming out called First Day, an Adoption Story, and it follows parents' journeys to adoption. And I did my best to make it as broad to allow for as many people to connect with it as possible. And it's also a fill in the blank. So there are areas where parents can put in their own story and their own first day in a calendar that's at the beginning of the book. So you can always remember that first day with your child and you can
Mhm.
remember some specific memories you had with them. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited that me and my parents worked on it together. And my
Oh,
mom actually was the one who wrote the back cover, and I have the blessing of both of my birth parents to have it published. So I'm
wow.
thrilled with the support I've received for it and that I get to see it come to fruition, I believe, in just a few months.
Wow. I mean, I can't wait to purchase that book because I feel like that is that one book that probably hits your heart probably the most, I hope. But I feel like
Yes.
that's gonna be such an amazing book. Now, where can our listeners follow you along for your latest updates?
Definitely at my website, sashasaidman.com. Right here, the world of Sasha Saidman. Uh,
Oh,
all of my updates are posted there. I have a blog, I have a media gallery showing this podcast soon, as
uh-huh.
well as hopefully
Yay.
many others.
Yay, that sounds all amazing. That's like such an exciting journey ahead of you. Again, thank you so much, Sasha, for joining us and sharing your insight. It's been a true pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Chelsea. I really loved being here today.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining into this episode of Chelsea Story Nook Podcast. Don't miss out. Sasha Saidman, the author of First Night, A Boat in the Kitchen, Melonade, Dust Bunnies Aren't Bad, Just a Little Unclean. I will include all the details in the description below, so be sure to check out and follow Sasha for her updates on her upcoming events. Until next time, keep reading, keep imagining, and keep believing the miracle stories. I'm Chelsea Chong Kim signing off. Take care, everyone, and remember to carry it on. Bye, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's episode of Chelsea Story Nook Podcast. Don't forget to order a copy of Carol the Carrot Bowls for the Salad Bowl on Amazon now. Tune in to other authors' podcast interviews for exciting discussions about their latest books and exclusive sneak peeks. Until next time, keep reading, keep imagining, and keep believing in the miracle of stories. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the notification button. I'm Chelsea Kim signing off. Take care and carry it on.